Curtis, can you hear me? Curtis, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you now.
Let's see. Am I on this mic or am I on this mic?
You're not on the mic.
All right, good. Cool. We are starting to just went live. It looked like a couple minutes ago. Try to get everybody in on here. Let's make sure that we are. If I switch back and forth to screen share, we are here. We're getting ready. I'm just going to check Facebook and YouTube really quick to make sure. You can even see my bike behind me. If you guys are out there, it looks like we have people saying they're here. So if you guys can hear us and see us on Facebook and on YouTube, if you can just let us know, awesome. So people are saying they can hear us. Thank you, everybody, for starting to get on. And as we start to roll this out and get started, it's going to be a fun webinar today. We're going to try to get you guys in and out of here much quicker. I mean, last week and the week before, we had hundreds of you guys down for a couple hours. That is not the plan today. We're not planning on making you guys stay quite as long. We're going to see how much stuff that we can give you in a short amount of time, and we will be ready to rock. So let's see here. There we go. Now we are streaming. Now we've got a couple different backgrounds there. We should be ready to go. I keep getting notices that people are trying to enter the studio and it's too full. So we're using a new software right now to be able to stream out to a whole bunch of different places. There should be a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be able to do, a lot more information we're going to be able to give you. But unfortunately, with it, we can only have so many people in the actual studio. So most of you guys are going to have to be watching on YouTube and Facebook. But any of the comments and questions that you put on YouTube and Facebook, it's going to feed right into here, so we get to see it all. And so, and so any of you guys out there right now, especially some of you guys that are in the studio, if you want, you can jump out of the studio, get onto YouTube and Facebook. Everybody will be able to see your comments and questions. If you're in the studio and you have questions that you don't want everyone to see, you can put them in the private chat and we'll be able to see that on there. So, all right, awesome. So everybody is now saying that they're here and we're getting ready to go. And I was just gonna check Facebook really quick and see if it looks like everybody's there. And it looks like everything's looking great.
Yeah, man, it looks like we're getting comments from on Facebook, YouTube, and on the StreamYard. So I think we're good.
Very cool. All right, we're gonna get started, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. We've been doing this the last few weeks. A lot of you guys have joined us. If this is your first time joining us, thanks for being here. We're talking right now to several different groups that are out there, all part of kind of our world and our branch. So we have our Roddy's Foreclosure Listing Service members, all of our members out there that are, predominantly in Texas going after foreclosure leads and looking at different leads all over the rest of the U.S. We also have our Real Estate Rockstars podcast crew in Rebus University. So anyone that's been part of Rebus University, that's focused on real estate agents, giving them coursework on how to succeed as an agent, and just trying to provide more info with all of that for people out there. And then, of course, our Real Estate Rockstars podcast. So I'm going to go to start sharing our screen. And Curtis, you and I could start walking through this. So again, as we're working through a new kind of podcast, a new format for us to be able to get out there for you. It's as I'm sharing my screen, it's showing you our previews and the number of slides. You guys will be happy to see we've got 10 slides here. They're going to be really, really important as we go through them to be able to help you guys out today. So another quick kind of thing as a quick memory or refresh for people that are joining us for the first time. My name is Mucha. I'm the CEO of Roddy's Foreclosure Listing Service. Pretty much, if you're trying to buy a foreclosure in Texas, you buy the leads from Roddy. So you find our website at FLSonline.com. Been around forever in Texas, and I've been investing in active foreclosures since 2009. That next highlight on there is true. So I bought more than 1,500 houses on the courthouse steps using investors and partners and teams. We'd go buy and sell on the courthouse steps. The first 1,000 of those were in California. in 2015, I started going out to Texas and focusing out in Texas. And right now, Texas is where I focus most of my stuff. But the things that I want to share with you guys, we can use all over the place. Back in 2012, 2013, we had been really, really successful at flipping, and we got put out of business by the big companies that came in and started buying on the courthouse steps. So I lost all my money in 2013 after flipping 1,000 houses. And I thought, this was super crazy. How did this happen? So when I got my new fresh start, we started buying rentals. And so now every 10 houses that we buy in the courthouse steps, we'll only flip 2 or 3, and we'll keep some as rentals. And so now we own and manage about 350 rentals in the Texas area, primarily in the Austin area, but they range anywhere from Dallas down to San Antonio, even out in El Paso, and down in Laredo and all sorts of places. So right now I live in Austin, Texas. Austin is one of my favorite places to be able to do this. One of the important reasons to listen to me on any of this is back in 2009 is when I started in this business. In 2009 was a couple years into like the deep foreclosure market, right? So we were building and selling new houses in 2005. Then we experienced the crash in 2007 in California. A lot of the stuff that people are kind of feeling right now with this uncertainty. And then most of our money, most of our success, we're successful in real estate now, but most of our success happened between 2009 and 2012. And that's the market in the world I feel like we're living in right now. And those are the opportunities and things I want to be able to share with all of you and encourage you. Right now, people have these decisions to make of should they take time off in real estate? Should they not invest? Should they not, be an agent? Should they try to find a separate job right now because houses aren't going to sell as fast? Or can they commit to success? So whether you're a real estate agent out there or a real estate investor out there, I say this is the time to commit to success and know that this is the largest opportunity around. Because 2 months ago, everybody was saying there's too much competition. There's too many investors in the market. There's too many agents in the market. There's too much stuff. Right now, there's going to be less competition, less people like that. And so now we're out there. So happy to share with you today and every week as we go through this. Curtis, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Curtis Roddy. I'm the CEO of the company. I've been around the company. My dad started this in the 1960s. So I've been lucky enough to be around Roddy's Foreclosures and the Texas foreclosure market since I was in diapers. So I'm an active real estate investor as well, and I've been monitoring through the kind of as the company has grown. I've been monitoring the foreclosure market since the 90s. So similar to Aaron, I was around. I actually bought my first investment property whenever the market crashed last in 09. So I got to go through that and see us go through that crash and then start climbing out of it. And we're seeing a lot of similar characteristics or trends right now that similar to what we saw in 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that's great. And I think some of our team out there, some of our Roddy team out there listening, Jack or Paul, you should send an email out to all of the people that have registered for this webinar, because right now it says our webinar is full. So we've got hundreds of people that are trying to click in right now and they can't get in, but we only have 50 of them actually watching live on Facebook and YouTube. So we need to resend an email out to everybody right now and let them know the studio is full, but if they click on the YouTube link or click on the Facebook link, they will be able to see all this live. We'll be able to see their comments and be able to answer questions as we go. So all right. So as we keep moving today, it says, what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to talk about the real estate and the foreclosure market. We're going to talk about how to succeed as an agent or investor right now. We're going to talk about who to market to. So as the prospects out there, who we can market to. We're going to talk about those outreach methods. How should you reach them right now? At the end, we're going to talk about how to flip in a falling market. And I told you guys, most of the houses I ever bought and sold were between 2009 and 2012. During that time, prices were decreasing every month. So every month prices were going down and we were still buying and fixing and selling successfully. I think we're going to have a situation like that for the next 3 to 6 to I don't know how many months. And so some of those skills we're going to try to go with you guys right now. We're going to help us get there. And then we also have how to offer value to your clients out there. And just some upcoming stuff that we're going to have going on. So webinars next week and the week after, how our team can help you, how to comp houses in a falling market. This is something that a lot of people have been asking for, especially inside our Rebus University with all the real estate agents. And we have tens of thousands of real estate agents that listen to our podcast 3 times a week. All right. So that podcast gets out there. A bunch of you guys out there listening 3 times a week to that podcast. And so the biggest request lately has been how to comp houses in a falling market. how to create and manage construction teams for scale, and how to cut and run, or when to cut and run. Right now, people are saying, I've got a house listed on the market. When should we sell it? When should we cut? What should we be doing right now? And so, yes, when to cut and run. Also, if you're out there on some of those socials, if you think that we're sharing some stuff with you guys today that other people should learn about, please share it. Please, if it lets you, share it out there to your group. Let them know they can come on here and join. All right, so one of our first things we were going to talk about was the real estate market and what is really going on right now. So what's going on with the real estate market? What's going on with the foreclosure market? And Curtis, did you break this into a couple different slides? I think we had it all as one slide.
Yeah, it could not fit all into one slide, so it's this slide and the next one. So this one's the real estate market update, and the next slide is going to be your foreclosure information.
Cool. The biggest update I want to tell everybody right now is, so obviously we're 30 days into shelter in place. My family's been sheltering in place, at our house for 30 days. Depending on where you live, it could be longer than that. If you live in California or Nevada, you're a little bit longer than that. If you live in other states, maybe you haven't been shelter in place quite as long. But during this time, the world is changing. We've had foreclosure moratoriums, we have all sorts of things. But the biggest news I think everyone needs to know right now, and I think this is going to stay the same no matter what for the next 6 months, is people have equity. A ton of people right now have equity. I mean, we gave the statistic a week or two ago on it, but it was a huge number, way more than half, way more than 2/3 of the people out there have equity in their house, and they have a ton of equity in their house. So regardless of the market going up or down, one of the differences from now compared to 2009 is back in 2009, people did not have equity. So it was a very different opportunity back then. If you were going to buy the houses, you had to buy them as a short sale, or you had to buy them for foreclosure. And if you were going to be an agent, you had to list you had to do short sales. There was no other way to help people. It's different this time. Right now, it's a crazy, economy. We're going into recession. There's going to be a lot of people without jobs, a lot of things that are going to shift around. But the biggest thing that's going to change the way we do it now compared to before is people have equity. Now I'm just going to give a real estate market update. So right now, what people are saying, we're talking to people all over the U.S. right now, is sales are still happening, right? So sales are happening out there, transactions are happening. But when people, and because we have a bunch of houses listed on the market, some of them are getting offers, some of them aren't. Some of our active rentals or people are moving into, some of our houses are getting offers on opening day. Most of them are getting lowball offers on opening day. So people are buying, but people are nervous, they're trying to offer less. Here's some quick statistics. A friend of mine, Zach Bacon, posted this on his Instagram yesterday. And I think for each of you, you should look for statistics in your local market. So for Sacramento, California, he compared the first 2 weeks of April to the first 2 weeks of March. So in comparison, homes for sales up 13%. So there's 13% more houses listed on the market in the first 2 weeks of April than March. So people are still listing their houses on the market. Here is the statistic, though, that really says, some other things are going. Pendings are down 27%. So now there's more houses on the market, and pendings, the number of houses that are in escrow to sell has decreased 27%. And then in the first 2 weeks of April, there was 30% less sales, that completed compared to the first 2 weeks of March. So what does that tell you, right? So that tells you that transactions are happening, right? So as those transactions are happening, it's not that real estate has completely stopped right now, but it's happening less. And so now there's more houses on the market, less houses selling. That's going to start adding days on inventory. And as you guys start to look at your different market for where to invest and how to invest, days of inventory, how many months will it take to sell off all the houses that are on the market right now? As you start to see those numbers creep up, that's really going to change the market. The webinar we did a couple weeks ago showed some historical, months of inventory as we got to see what was going on in our current markets. I think next week or the week after, we'll look at Texas stats and maybe some stats around the state, around the country, show how many months of inventory are out there. Is this creeping up? So I would encourage all of you guys, check your local areas, figure out what those numbers are. Compare the first 2 weeks of April to the first 2 weeks of March. How many houses are on the market right now that were compared to then? How many pendings? How many houses went pending during that 2 week period? How many houses sold during that 2 week period compared to March? That will help you see what the situation is like in your current market. We may see some markets that are no different, right? The biggest thing you can take away from that is now is time to differentiate, right? No matter what, transactions are happening, but there's less of them. So if you want your client to get the deal, or if you want your listing to sell, you're going to have to differentiate. You're going to have to do better. You're going to have to do better than you already did. The other statistic that came out yesterday that's important is, so it's right now mortgage rates yesterday 3.31% for a 30-year fixed. If you compare that to a year ago it was 4.17%. So interest rates are down from a year ago. We've seen that down almost, two-thirds of a percentage, maybe a little slightly more. So that means if somebody's $1,000 a month payment, now they can buy more house today than they could a year ago. It's part of why prices are so much higher now than they were a year ago. One of the differences, though, it's a couple things below this, is now the problem is there's a lot of lender overlays out there. So even though interest rates are lower, it is harder to get a loan today than it was a month ago, than it was 2 months ago. There's a lot of new changes to that. So we'll get down to that and I'll talk about it. So if you're going to go out there as an agent right now and you want to sell a property, I think there's a few things that it's the keys that have always been there. But a year ago in a hot market, these keys were not as important. One is, people are saying, hey, should we still, list houses for sale? Yes, you should. Because even if you have to take it off the market in a month, maybe it's not going to sell till everybody's off shelter in place, but it can't hurt to try. So you want to price it right. You want to be quick to adjust. Now, when I say quick to adjust, part of that is, if it's been on the market for a week and nobody's interested, nobody's calling, you either need to be ready to adjust that price or take it off the market. So you have to be ready to adjust, and that depends on your motivation. There are people right now that have to sell their house no matter what. I've got a house in Leander that right now we just moved out of it. We have to sell it. The timing is really bad that we bought a new house during this, but I don't want to wait 3 to 6 months to sell it. So I'm going to put it on the market. We'll see if it sells right now. And there's a lot of people like that. Also, there's a lot of people that are moving because of shelter in place. People are trying to move back closer to family or other areas. We've had a lot of tenants tell us, like, hey, we need to cancel our lease because we're moving to this other state to go move in with family. And so things are going to be happening. People will have to sell houses. They will have to rent houses. So be ready to price it right, quick to adjust it, and know your clients. Know what your clients need. And if you're an investor and you're trying to sell properties, it's the same thing. Price to adjust. Know what you need to do depending on your motivation. The next one is just to consider right now that during this market, there's going to be a lot of changing habits. So what do I mean by changing habits? So we say we've been home for 30 days. It takes 30 days to form a new habit, right? So there's a lot of things that people are doing. I think as we come out of this, I was on a webinar last night where a guy really went into a lot of details and said, hey, when we come out of this for a week or two, there's going to be a rush of people needing to do things. People need to get haircuts. People need to go to the dentist. People need to go do a whole bunch of things. And there's going to be a rush of that for a couple weeks. But then after that, a lot of people might say, hey, you know what? I'm really good at working from home. I'm going to keep working from home. Employers might say, hey, we don't need that office anymore. We'll have everybody work from home right now because this is working. Some people may decide that they don't need some of the things they needed before. We've all had to live without a lot of stuff. We've had to live without certain foods and restaurants and things, stuff that makes us feel good. Now people have formed those habits and they don't need to go out to eat every day anymore. They don't need to do some of those things. So their spending habits are going to change. And so I think when it comes to real estate, what we're probably going to see over the next year is I think there's going to be less of a demand in, deep in the cities, close to work, close to office locations where people needed to live close to certain things before. If people are working remotely now and people are getting used to working remotely now some of those outskirt areas are going to become more valuable. A lot of people don't need to live in downtown Austin anymore or central. They can go live 30 miles away for a third of the price because they don't need to be there anymore. So start to look around for changing habits, and that could be with the way people use movie theaters, all sorts of things. Just think about yourself. What habits are you guys changing right now? And those are probably a lot of habits that might be out there. Next thing I wanted to talk about for agents, and I'm sorry I'm talking so fast. Today we've got 1 hour to try to really just fire you a bunch of stuff through a fire hose, and I want to be able to answer just a ton of questions for you guys too. So you could post the questions on YouTube and Facebook also. When we get through certain sections, we're going to pull all those in the end, and we're going to be able to do that for you. So changing habits, lender overlays. So what I mean by lender overlays is there's certain lenders out there that are saying, yes, we have these new low interest rates. Right now you can get a mortgage for 3.31% instead of 4.17%. But now some of them are requiring a minimum credit score of 700, right? Certain overlays for VA loans, we talked about this last week, they've raised those requirements for people to get loans. They're also going to be double checking jobs. Like, do they have solid jobs that are kind of, shelter in place proof right now. The big SBA financing just happened, but now they're out of money. So they don't have money. So the companies that did get it, they're going to be able to keep people employed the next 2.5 months. The other companies that didn't get it are going to have to make a decision. Do they do layoffs right now for the next 2.5 months because they thought that was going to get paid for? So the lenders are going to make it harder to get a loan. So if you have someone buying one of your houses, if you have a client that you're trying to buy a house for, or if you have a house in escrow, make sure everybody gets requalified. Whoever you're representing out there on whatever side of the transaction you are, you need to make sure that person that was in escrow 2 weeks ago is still qualified, because we've had several people tell us that they had loans that were signed at the table that have now been revoked because they're changing their overlays. So make sure people are qualified. That has huge implications. You don't want to know if you've got somebody that just got an escrow a week or two ago and you've got 30 days left in that escrow. You don't want to find out 30 days from now they can no longer get approved for that loan. So the next thing I want to talk about is just offering value. We've been talking about this every day on the podcast, every time we get on here. What you can do more than anything right now, as an investor, when you're reaching out to people to say, how can we buy the house from you? As an agent, trying to say, how can we get the listing for you? Offer value. We're going to talk about a lot of ways to reach out to people, but asking them what they need right now. An hour ago, I got a phone call from an agent in Austin. He said, hey, Aaron, I just want to call and check in with you. I met you at one of my open houses a year ago. I just want to see, is there anything that I can help you with right now? Right? And if I would have said, I need some groceries, he probably would have done it. If I would have said, hey, I'm trying to figure out this, I would have done it. And if I would have said, hey, I'm looking for a house, I don't know. At the end of that, I said, hey, I'm an investor. I'm not trying to buy a personal house right now, but we are going to be trying to buy some rental properties soon. So if you're seeing any deals on rental properties, please keep me in mind for that. At the end, he goes, okay. And also, I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to shoot you a text message. I've got a couple lenders right now that are doing no money refinances. He's like, I don't get anything out of that, but just right now in this time, if you do have the ability to refinance, you could probably save a lot of money. He was calling just to offer value, knew that he probably was not going to sell me anything. And even when I was like, hey, you're not going to sell me anything, he still said, well, if you want to refinance a mortgage, I can introduce you to some guys right now that are doing that for free. So he's offering value. And also keep relationships. I have the next note as keep relationships, but maybe that should also say improve relationships. So we're not just keeping relationships out there. It's about calling people you already have relationships with and trying to improve on those.
Hey, Aaron, let me interrupt you real quick. So you talked a little bit about offering value and how a real estate agent can offer value. Is there a way that a real estate investor, especially in this market right now, can offer value to either people that are potentially going to sell a property to them or to tenants? Any ideas on that? Yeah. So
and down in our outreach section, we're going to talk about what to do on the phone call, what to do on the postcard, some of those sorts of things. But this section is mostly for real estate agents, but as we jump down into possible investor stuff as well, really it's about calling people, emailing, however we reach out to them, we start the conversation, and it's just asking them, what do you need right now? Is there anything I can help you with? And it really depends on who we're calling. If we're calling the landlord that has one rental, it's saying, hey, how's that going? Do you still want to keep that rental? When we reach out to people as an investor, there's 10 different types of people that we're trying to reach out to. So we're going to find 10, so we have investors, we have people that need to sell their house because of distress. We have people that are moving to different locations. So there's all sorts of different reasons we're going to be reaching out to people. And so it's just going to be listening to what their need is and then saying, hey, do you need to buy another house? Do you need to sell your house? Do you need to sell your house and want to rent it for a while? So so much of that offering value is first just figuring out what they're asking for, and then deciding if you need that. As an investor, one example could be, as you're harnessing that relationship, you could be reaching out to another investor that owns one house, right? And you say, hey, do you want to sell your house? They say, no, I don't want to sell my house. You go, okay, well, how's everything going? How's it going with your rental? And they go, well, I actually right now, I don't know what's going on. My guy didn't pay, and I heard that I'm not allowed to evict him right now. Am I allowed to evict him? Do you know anything like that? So it's really just asking people, even if he says, no, I don't want to sell my house right now, asking, is there anything I can help you with? What could that do? It could just help another investor, or it could help another investor through the next 3 to 6 months. And 6 months from now, he says, you know what, I want to sell my house. I'm going to call Aaron. I'm going to call the guy that actually helped me with my tenant problem 6 months ago. So that offering value to as an investor could be anything they want. right? Anything they want because you're trying to improve that. So many of the best deals that happen through investments are, take a long time. I think next week we're going to have Jack on here, who's one of our FLS team, and he's made just a ton of offers to people and gone and met them in their houses and said, hey, can we make an offer to buy your house? And some of those were things that he had met with one day, and 6 months later they buy the house, or a year later they buy the house. So just like anything, just like you're a real estate agent harnessing that contact as an investor, you're going to do the same thing. As you find these leads, you're going to add them in there, offer whatever value they need. Curtis,
Awesome.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers the question. It sounds like it really ties into, offering value, but also keeping those relationships and nurturing those relationships as you go through this period.
Yeah, it's just a strange time. Like, if there's the best thing that I've seen come out of like the virus and shelter in place is, for the first time in a long time, there is like one enemy, right? The human race has one combined enemy together, and it's the coronavirus. So now people are nice to each other, and people are nice to each other in the street, and they're nice to each other when they go grocery shopping. And so this could just be an opportunity to reach out to people and say, hey, can I offer you value? And what that does is it improves a relationship that may turn into nothing, but it's a good time to be helping out other humans, or it may turn into a future deal. Next thing I want to talk about for a second was just using technology. So I'm going to see if I'll be able to change this over. But when I say using technology, so as a real estate agent, right? So right now people can go on realtor.com and they can request like a virtual showing, where some people are going to go do that virtual showing, and they could say, I want to see this house. They click virtual showing, and that's going to tell the agent to go there and like do FaceTime on their phone and walk through the property with them. That could also be using these 3D tours. I'm going to see if I could pull in a 3D tour example. All right, so Curtis, can you see the listing?
Yes.
Cool. So this listing is my house up in Leander. This is the one that right now we want to be able to sell. So how can you sell it at a time when people are afraid to go do open houses, when people don't want to go there? I have a great agent, and one of the things that he does is he gets great pictures of the property and his great open houses. Whereas a year ago, pictures were less important because people wanted to walk through all the houses. Right now, pictures and virtual tours and videos are really important because it gives people the chance to see the stuff ahead of time, to see if they even want to go see it. I think people are still going to have to go see a property to make an offer, but with good pictures and good virtual tours, they can narrow that list of 10 down to 2 or 3 and do that. So I think anyone that's an agent right now, or if you have investments you're listing, if you aren't doing great pictures and great virtual tours, that was less important a year ago. Same with rentals. If you're listing rentals on the market, less important a year ago. Now it's really important. So the pictures make everything look so much different. As people, you get show the size of the yard. They just did some in here where they pulled. So it's got a great big pool. You try to go through, and I'm going to pull up the virtual tour in a second. But I just want to say, the ideas of staging a house with good pictures, again, stuff real estate agents were always doing, but now that used to be an extra. Really, right now, it's a requirement. If you want to be able to get your deal, not only do you have to price it right, not only do you have to be ready to change the price of the lot, but you've got to make sure that everything looks great. And then they even have the drone out there, right? So they've got the drone out there getting pictures of the big yard. Now the VR tour is the thing that I really wanted to show you guys. There's lots of different technology companies out here that do this now. But if you're listing a house, so we'd get so many questions on 2-story houses of how many bedrooms are on the first floor, or does the second bedroom on the first floor have a private bathroom or a shared bathroom? Agents forget that stuff. Listing agents forget that stuff as they go through. But these virtual tours now, where you can go through and get these 3D tours, you can walk through a house, you can answer all of the own questions. They even have this little button here where someone can click it on a little virtual reality headset in the lower right-hand corner. They could put on the headset and walk through the house that way. Like, really cool technology. This stuff's been around for a year or two, but now I think it's really going to be more important because people can now say, okay, there's one bedroom on the first floor. How is all of that going to look? So lots of technology out there. The final thing for agents or people selling your houses is be ready to work harder. So back to that original statistic of deals are still happening. There's just less of them. People need to be ready to work harder to be the one that does sell, and use that technology. Or if you're an agent and somebody says, hey, can you send me a video of it? Yes, you're going to go to the property. You're going to do a FaceTime with them or a live Zoom call so they can walk around and tour the property. You've got to be willing to do it, because if you're one of the agents that says no, I know one thing for certain, we are not in a hot market anymore. It used to be like, I don't have to do that. It'll sell without it. Now it's about doing best practices 100% of the time. And you never know who that buyer is going to be. You never know who that seller is going to be. but you have to act as if everybody is going to be that next person, and you've got to work hard. You know, if you guys want more information on which of those tour companies are out there, there's a couple of them that are like, you know, that are all over the US right now. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So post some stuff in the comments, email us afterward. As always, you know, FLSonline.com, there's a little chat window in that lower right window. Any questions you have about anything that we've talked about today, you can post in there. Hey, what's that website? We had people on the webinar last week saying, hey, what's one of those insurance companies that you recommended? We sent them that insurance company yesterday. So if you have questions or things we can help you with after, and you're seeing the recording after, I mean, you can put them in the Facebook chat, put them in the YouTube chat, but also, you know, feel free to message us. So Curtis, let's talk about foreclosures. Let's have you talk about foreclosures. You know, what happened, you know, last month in April. We talked about this a little bit last week. What are we seeing so far in postings for May?
Yeah, so it's been kind of an interesting couple of weeks. So for the April postings report that we in Texas that we left out, we actually had some. I mean, the number of postings that we actually saw were the highs that we've seen for the year. So that was interesting. And then kind of the coronavirus was in full effect at that point. And so, you know, when it got time to get to the auction, we saw less than 100 sales in the state, right? And so typically across the state, we'll see 300 or 400 sales every month. We'll see investors, you know, 50 investors at a Dallas County auction around one trustee. This month was very different. It was in stark contrast to what we usually see. We saw 1 or 2 investors at the larger sites. We also saw some of the counties though, like acting like business as usual. So McLennan County had more sales than Dallas County did, which is highly unusual. Never seen that. That's a first for me in my entire life. You know, I mean, just yesterday we were in the McLennan County courthouse, and you know, in Dallas County, everybody will have masks on. You're not typically allowed inside. We'll go into McLennan County or some of the other more rural courthouses, and it was just like normal. So no precautionary measures there. So April was an interesting month as far as foreclosure postings and the foreclosure sale. Our Texas foreclosure report came out on Wednesday of this week, and so on April 15th, we finalized our report for our major counties, and we saw a very, very big drop in the number of postings, but which was not a big surprise. We had about, you know, let's just say Dallas County typically has about 500 postings. In Dallas County, we had around 250 postings this month. So almost a 50% drop in postings, but the quality of the postings were, I think, are a little bit better than what we typically saw for the April auction, meaning that the types of loans that were being foreclosed on are probably less likely to have a forbearance or to be deferred to another auction, primarily because they were mostly conventional loans, reverse mortgages being foreclosed on, or vacant property. So we think we'll see an uptick in the number of foreclosures sales that happened this month. And that's, you know, unless we see something change unless the shelter in place gets extended. So obviously the regulations are changing every week. So what we've seen this week though is probably more sales, but less postings.
Yeah, so I think part of that too, what we saw in the foreclosures last month is no one quite knew what they were allowed to do or not to do. So in California, we went from having 300 sales a day to 20 to 30 sales a day, right? In Texas, we saw, you know, an even bigger decrease because one of the things in California is people can postpone a day, right? They can say, let's just postpone the auction until tomorrow. They would double check. They would double check that the person, you know, wasn't trying to get the house back, hadn't requested a forbearance. In Texas, if you're going to delay one day, you have to delay a whole month. So a lot of that happened, you know, this last time. So I think, and there were also a lot of trustees that were calling us, asking us for advice, saying, are we still allowed to go to sale? You know, what does this mean? And for all of those states out there, they're so, you know, I think in general, they're coming out with, hey, there's going to be a forbearance on mortgages. It's going to postpone. But that's not a blanket statement of no matter what. We had a lot of people when we were posting links saying, hey, people are at the Guadalupe County Courthouse. People are buying houses right now and there's no competition. And people got on there and said, well, what do you mean? I thought auctions were canceled. What we've been trying to tell everybody is don't believe everything in the news, right? So the auctions are definitely reduced, but they weren't canceled. We're expecting to see, you know, one of the things we say is we're expecting to see a huge uptick in postings because of it. So right now, there are forbearances, there are ways that stuff's getting postponed, and the stuff that's going to sale, people aren't posting it unless they think there's a really good chance of it going to sale. But that means that in a few months, all of a sudden, there's going to be a ton of postings again. So if we were used to getting $4,000 to $5,000 a month in Texas, and of those, we're used to seeing 500 to 1,000 sell every month. Now we're going to see in a few months, all of a sudden, we're going to have 15,000, 20,000 in postings, 3,000 selling on the same day. So it's not, when we say like moratoriums and forbearance, a lot of people have seen that in the news. So what's a moratorium? So part of a moratorium is saying, hey, you can't do any foreclosures at all, right? But they're saying, but that's for specifically loan back, specifically, backed by the FHA or other things. And then there were other disclaimers in there, and they can't be vacant and abandoned. They have to be people that were current before this happened. So there's all these little loopholes, but that's why a lot of trustees have said, we just don't want to go to sale at all, because they didn't want to know, which one they were going to do that way. So look for a huge uptick in postings with that. And the other part about the forbearance is they're telling people there's two different types of forbearance. Somebody could say, I'm not going to make any payments for the next 3 months. And some lenders have said, we'll just extend your loan 3 months and you'll just make 3 months extra payments. Other lenders have said, okay, you're going to have a forbearance for 3 months, on month 4, you're going to owe us 4 months worth of payments. So what does that mean? So option 1 means you don't make any payments for the next 3 months. You save $1,000 a month if your mortgage is $1,000, $1,000. 3 months from now, 4 months from now, you go back to paying $1,000, and it's just your house gets extended. That is the best case forbearance scenario that really, really helps the borrower. Very few of those are actually happening. There are some happening. I have a few friends that have gotten that to work out. Most of them are saying, hey, you don't make a payment, so you save $1,000, but now come August, your payment is going to be $4,000. So now they're going to tell you, hey, so now you owe us that $4,000. People are going to say, what? I don't have $4,000 now. This was getting postponed. And if they do have the $4,000, a lot of them may say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to pay it back. I want to get there. So we think there's going to be a huge pushing on that. But the big opportunity out there for foreclosures for agents and investors and everybody is whenever, so those ones that got posted today for auction and the ones that got posted last month for auction, even though very few of them actually sold, because there is going to be, all of them are going to be coming back in August and September. It's a great opportunity to buy those lists, even buy last month's list, buy the list of houses that were scheduled for foreclosure in April. Find a list of houses that are scheduled for foreclosure in May and reach out to them and say, because the big thing I said at the beginning is this time they all have equity. So you could say, hey, you're behind. Can I help? What can I do to help you? Is there anything that you can do with this? Maybe they just need some information. Hey, how does forbearance work? What am I supposed to do here? And you're like, well, actually, I'd like to sell my house, but I'm a little nervous. I kind of need to figure out where I'm going to move first. That could be an investor saying, let me buy your house and rent it back to you, something like that. So those moratoriums and those forbearances for people that will be active and aggressively go after those listings or go after those leads. You can buy the foreclosure leads from last month from somewhere, buy the foreclosure leads for next month, reach out to them, try to buy their house right now. Or if you're an agent, say, hey, you've got a few month reprieve here. Let me try to sell it. No, it's not going to sell for as much today as it would have 2 months ago, but let me try to sell your house for you now. Curtis, you have anything to add on the foreclosures?
Yeah, just to kind of add to what we're predicting and when we think we'll see another uptick, we're already seeing almost a huge uptick in postings for the June auction. And so while May might not have had a ton of postings, in Texas at least, we're seeing a large uptick in June postings, which is a higher volume than at this point in the foreclosure cycle we're used to seeing. And if you are in Texas and looking for foreclosure data, Roddy's is grabbing that data, and now it's going to be this week. I think it'll actually be available. We'll have multiple months available to our customers to monitor that, along with our foreclosure updates.
Yeah, in Texas you'll be able to get it at FLSonline.com. I think we'll have time to probably talk about some of the new updates we're doing to our software. If not, that'll be on next week's webinar. But it used to be you could only see next week's or next month's auction. Now you can see next month's and the month after and the month after. And Curtis has a great point. Right now, there's more June postings up than we've ever had before 2 months in advance, or that we've ever had in the last 10 years, let's say, right? So now you guys can start reaching out to them. If that auction's not for a couple months and they might get some forbearance, that's an opportunity to sell a house for somebody, maybe over a 3 to 4 month process. 2 months ago in Texas, if you wanted to buy the foreclosure lead before auction, you had to reach that person the next day or the next 2 days and buy that house within 10 days, or you weren't going to beat auction. Now you've got months. You can reach out to people and say, can I buy your house? Let's work out a deal. There's a lot more time to work out a deal, and where it was a lot harder to do that before. So this is one of the things we promised we would talk to you guys about, is who to market to. As agents and investors, who should you be marketing to, and what is that process like? So one of the first things you want to do is you want to find and filter your lists. So you want to go out and use different sources that are out there. You could use free sources. You could go on Zillow and try to find houses that were recently listed but taken off the market. That's a good, or if you have access as an agent, you could find houses that were expired, that were taken off the market a couple weeks ago, or they expired, they didn't sell. Those are people right now. I think the most important thing to focus on for the next 3 months, though, is this one in particular, is people with equity. People with a lot of equity, if possible, because those are the ones that you can not only help, but by helping them, it can also help you. And so what I mean is somebody owes $70,000 on their house, and their house is worth $100,000. Those are the people that you can help. Because if their house was worth $100,000 a month ago, it might be worth $90,000 now. But that means you could probably find an investor or a buyer or somebody that would buy it for between $80,000 and $90,000, and they can still sell their house now with a little bit of money. So those are people with equity. Right now, I would be using, we have a software called PadHock.com that you can test and see somebody's equity. You can choose any address in the country, see how much they owe, see what you think their house is worth. So find people with equity. And then the next thing is finding people with extra distress. Now, the reason I say extra is everyone is in distress right now. Nobody likes sheltering in place at home. Nobody likes the stress that this is putting on their family, and their businesses. A lot of people don't know if they're going to go back to work or when they're going to go back to work. So focus on someone that has extra distress related to that property. So that could be somebody that's already behind on their payments, somebody that hasn't paid their property tax bill, somebody that's posted for foreclosure, somebody that's been getting liens for not paying their utility bills or not mowing their lawns. So you can get some of that stuff for free. You can find people that have not paid their property taxes on your county. Just search your county and property tax list. Dallas County property taxes, Sacramento County property taxes. Find a list of people that haven't paid their property taxes for a couple of years. Call them. They're in distress. Check to see if they have equity. You could buy the foreclosure data from FLS Online, and that's for Texas. Or for nationwide stuff, you can go to our software called PadHock, and you can find people that are in distress for all sorts of different reasons. So I'm going to jump to them really quick before I go to number 4 and 5. So I'll pull PadHock up on the board. So Curtis, can you see our PadHock software?
Yeah.
Cool. So PadHock software, we've showed this a couple different times. PadHawk. So you could sign up. It's $99 a month. This is one that you can pick out any house or any county and see what's going on with it. So I can say, I want to know what the investment is like right now in Fort Worth, Texas. Oh, and it said error. I might have to relog in if I waited too long. Let's see if this is going to work. Dallas, Texas. Oh, don't you love it when you're doing a demo and something crashes? All right, I'm going to log out, log back in, see if it starts to work. All right. We got to play the Jeopardy music, right? Austin, Texas. Okay, that looks a lot better. It says in Austin, Texas, there's 2,900 houses on the MLS. It says 96 pre-foreclosures. Those are for the next several months. If you buy it from Roddy's FLS, you'll also see that there's hundreds, right? So this is just a small fraction of foreclosures in Texas. But for places like California, Colorado, a lot of other states, you can use PadHock to find the foreclosure leads in your county, right, and in your city. So use this. You can say, hey, here's a pre-foreclosure. Here is someone with liens on it, or here's a vacant house. So we get the vacant house data from the post office. So this is somebody stopped collecting their mail at a house. After 3 weeks, the post office tags it as vacant. So it'll come up there as vacant. Liens. So when you click liens in Austin, it says county city tax lien, county city tax lien. So that could be somebody didn't pay their water bill. That could be somebody didn't mow their lawn and the county had to mow their lawn and now they got liened by it. So that's a great example of what this one has: a $5,000 lien, a $7,000 lien. That's an example of somebody that has a little bit of extra distress in their life. So now you can go into PadHock and you could choose one of them in particular. Let's just choose a house. And it says, all right, the market value is $257,000, and they've got a small loan on it, $96,000 loan, right? So if the house is worth $250,000 and they've got a $96,000 loan on it, that means they have equity. That means they could sell that house for $150,000 and still be really, really happy. Or they could sell it for $200,000 and still walk away with $100,000 and still be $40,000 below market. So you can use the things on here in the filter to find houses all sorts of ways like that. You know, somebody that recently got divorced, somebody in bankruptcy, somebody with pre-foreclosure. This is where you can pick out the lien idea. So specific lien types. Like I said, I just want somebody with a utility lien. Somebody that hasn't paid their utilities. It looks like that's going to be different in Austin than another place. So we'll try, mechanics liens. So there's this many mechanics liens out there. And then you can also go into your valuation equity. You can say, I want somebody that has at least, 25% equity. That's a big equity number. And so that says, okay, now there's 179 people that have equity. And again, somebody said, what is the URL for this? It's PadHock, PadHawk. This is nationwide stuff. You could search by city, by county, by particular address, and you can find the people out there that have a little bit of extra distress in their life and they have equity. These are ideal people as an agent or as an investor to reach out to. All right, so extra distress, and then our other site is, if I just pull up FLSonline.com, that's where you can get some of that foreclosure data. But what I wanted to really say, this is not a sales pitch, right? These are the two ways that we have for it, but you guys can find a lot of this info for free also. We've got a book coming out about how to buy foreclosures, but the first half of it is just teaching everyone how to get all the lists themselves and not have to buy any from us, right? We just try to speed things up a little bit if you want that, but these are things right now, especially if you're on a tighter budget, that you can go find out there. So finding people that have equity, that are in extra distress, and that's kind of the first topic. And ones that stuff that you specialize in. Sometimes people specialize on certain price points. Sometimes people specialize on certain zip codes, or specialize on age of houses, right? So that's how you're going to find and filter your list: people with equity and people in extra distress. If you are one of our Roddy's customers, one of the things that we have right now is so you could go into a place and you can say what's right now is scheduled for foreclosure, right? We have a ton of stuff. So 989 records so far scheduled for foreclosure next month. That's still getting updated. Tier 1 and Tier 2 counties are done. Tier 3, some of our smaller outlier counties are still getting worked on. But what we have now is we have this system called New Live Updates. Because so many things are getting canceled, we reached out to all the trustees and said, we need to have better relationships. We need to be able to give our customers something extra. So the customers are getting, they say, hey, there's less stuff going on right now. What can we do? If you have 100 houses scheduled for auction and it used to be 10 were selling, well, now there's 100 houses scheduled for auction. There's only 2 selling. One of the things that we've done is we've come up with this system that says New Live Updates. So now you can go through, and we're updating this every day. Now you'll be able to see the last time it was uploaded. So if we choose one like Williamson County for May, we can already see this list just came out 2 days ago. These just got posted to the counties 2 days ago. And you can see of the 40, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of them canceled. So if you are going to be someone trying to buy this in foreclosure, if you're going to knock on the doors or drive the houses or send a letter saying to find out information because you want to buy it on the courthouse steps, now you're going to drive 25 of them instead of 40, right? If opening bids come out, we're going to see that on here too. So that's part of filtering our list. So people are going to have a more efficient time. Over the next few days, by next week, it'll probably be down to 20 houses. That would be a great time to go out there if you're going to try to buy them on the courthouse steps. So as you do that, again, to get to your searches, you go to our products, where you would see your normal one. This is how a lot of people go in and do their searches right now. So you hit pre-foreclosure list here, and then you hit New Live Updates. And so that's getting updated all of the time. And when you're in there, you can see when was something last updated. These were updated this morning, updated on 4/17, so you can see if it hasn't been updated in a while or not. So that just helps you get there. One of the questions is PadHock a separate subscription from FLS? So we've got a few different software stuff. PropHawk is free. So Roddy's Portfolio Builder, it's free. It works in line with your FLS subscription. PadHock is $99 a month, but the difference with PadHock is it's nationwide. So that's not just for FLS, you're buying certain counties. You're buying, I want to know the Travis County foreclosures. I want to know the Williamson County foreclosures, Dallas County foreclosures. PadHock is nationwide as we get to do that. So now you can find and filter your list. You can go in and see what's better out there. This is especially for auction buyers because a lot of our customers only buy stuff at auction. All right. One of the next things, and Curtis, what's your hard stop time? I know we said we're trying to get out of here in an hour. I think we probably have 15, 20 minutes worth of stuff if we just fly through it left.
Yep. Hard stop is 1:00. So I think we've got another interview to hop on to then.
Great. All right. Well, so and people are asking for the URLs on there. So so Jack and Paul, if you guys can just reply on the comments with some of the URLs, or you guys out there who are listening and paying attention, if you guys caught it right. So PadHock.com, PadHawk, FLSonline.com, or we'll get into PropHawk.com. Now, real estate agents out there, somebody right now that's going to be a new target for you that may not have been a customer is going to be people who couldn't buy before. So what I mean by that is, so you could have had a customer that 2 or 3 months ago, they could only pay $200,000 for a house. And they could only pay $200,000 for a house, and they liked a particular neighborhood, but the pricing in that neighborhood was $250,000, right? They were priced out of that neighborhood. Well, now I'm guessing prices are down a little bit. Maybe now those average $250 is worth $230 or $240. The other exciting thing is interest rates are down from where they were 2 months ago. And so now the person that could afford $200,000 before, if they are highly qualified with the high, credit score, they could only afford $200 before. Now they can afford $230 and $240 just because of mortgage rates. And now they can get into there. So think about your list. Look at your database. Are there people that you could have been helping before, but they just couldn't quite afford enough? Now they probably can. The other thing too is going to be move-up buyers. There's going to be plenty of move-up buyers that, again, for the same reason, they wanted to be in a certain neighborhood, but they couldn't afford that neighborhood. They could only afford a certain price point, and that other neighborhood was out of their price point. Well, now with interest rates being lower, they could sell the property they have, even if it's going to be for 10% less, and they have a chance to move in to that new property because now they can afford more than they could before. So focus on those people who couldn't buy before and those move-up buyers. Not very many people are focusing on them. So when we talk about transactions are going to happen and how do you differentiate, we think that is going to be a great way to differentiate. Another topic we have on here is to reach out to rental owners. There's going to be a lot of people out there that own 2 or 3 rental houses. Now, you can do that in PadHock. You can also do that in property tax records. So one of the ways you do it in PadHock is in your search. You can say non-owner occupied. So it says owner occupied. You can say, no, I want anything that's not owner occupied. I'm going to release my other stats on here. So it says of the houses in Austin, 10,000 of, there's, as you filter it, a ton of them are not owner occupied. And then you look for those other things. What about that they have equity? So people that have equity, 25% equity that aren't owner occupied. All right, and you start to lower that list, and then you do a pricing structure. So non-owner occupied houses, find somebody that owns 2 or 3 rentals and say, hey, how's it going? Is there anything I can help you with? Right? And that may be the person that says, my tenant's not paying rent. What can I do? Or it could be somebody, their tenant didn't pay rent for a few months. And they say, I thought I wanted to be an investor, but this is hard. If somebody has 50 rentals and 2 or 3 people haven't paid, so we have 350, we have about 10 people that didn't pay their rent because of COVID. That's a really good number. Most of our people paid rent. But if you only own 2 rentals and your 2 tenants aren't paying rent because of COVID, you don't like being a landlord right now. If that's you and you want to sell your house, go to FLSonline.com, say I want to sell my house, right? You put your stuff in there, we'll buy it, we'll send it out to our list, we'll see if anybody else wants to buy it. If you've got a property you need to sell, go to our site and try to sell it. That's nationwide, right? So or you're going to reach out, but if that's not you, I think there's a lot of people out there like that. So reach out to the people that own a couple rentals. They're small-time investors. Hey, how's it going? Can I help you? If you're interested in selling this house in the future, we want to represent you. We want to list it for you. What can I do to add value? If you're the person that adds value right now, when they are ready to sell it, they're going to help you. And the next one, we say the foreclosure products. So the biggest thing that we talked about a little bit already of foreclosures is sales are postponed right now. So that doesn't mean they're canceled. This is where it's a huge opportunity. So it's not just that if we were supposed to have 3,000 postings last month or 4,000 postings last month, or it didn't mean that they went away. It meant they got postponed 3 or 4 months. So it's not going to go away. They're just getting postponed. It's not like all those people automatically made their payment because we know that's exactly what didn't happen. So because sales are postponed, this is a huge opportunity. Even for the ones that we have scheduled for next month, the 2,000 that are scheduled for next month, or the 100,000 that are scheduled nationwide, very small fraction of them will actually sell, but all of them are people that do need to sell. And now, more than ever, most of them have equity. It's a great time to be able to offer value, and both you guys get to help each other out. So Curtis, I know you've done some different, dialing, auto voicemails, emails. So we talk a little bit. So on in PadHock, if you go to PadHock.com, it's a totally free account. If you're on FLS already, it logs into there. Nationwide though, PadHock.com is free. That's Roddy's portfolio builder. In there, right when you click in, there's a button that says how to order phone numbers and email addresses. I think it's 10 cents for a phone number, 10 cents for an email address, something like that. Will you tell everybody about your experience with just getting phone numbers and reaching out to people?
Yeah, the phone numbers, in the Ringless voicemail specifically was a pretty crazy experience for me. We started introducing that to our customers about a year ago, and obviously prior to that, we did a lot of testing with the software and with the leads, and just to make sure everything was accurate. I never forget the first time I tried it. I set up my campaign in PadHock. I saved all my leads in there. I had about 3,000 leads across the country that I saved into this campaign, and I set the Ringless voicemails to go off around noon that day, just because I thought that'd be a great time for people that they're at lunch. They're more likely to get the voicemail and respond to it quickly. I expected maybe 30 phone calls back. I forgot that I was going to be on vacation with my wife and daughter. We were on vacation. The voicemails went out, and I got 350 phone calls back that day. So I had a wife that was a little upset with me, but one of the most still is one of the most successful campaigns or marketing strategies that I've ever had, because it's convenient, it's cheap, you can do it really quickly. You don't have to have a big team to do it. You can use a lot of free tools like Google Voice to help monitor that and to respond to those calls. So I think the Ringless voicemails has been kind of that new thing that a lot of people are starting to recognize can be a big success.
Thanks. Yeah, the technology with all that. Oh, excuse me, I just sneezed, but I muted just in time. So have you tried emails with those?
Yeah, so we've done everything, right? So we do dialing, we've done the voicemails, emails. The emails work great. Obviously, it seems like the emails have a lower response rate, but it's easier to send those out, and a lot of people prefer to converse via email instead of texting or instead of voice. So I think when we do campaigns, and we are coaching our customers to set up their campaigns, we suggest email, voicemail, and text message sometimes. So just because you get to reach a different demographic that might respond to you in email versus voicemail. Yeah.
As I get ready to jump into the other ones, I just want to remind everybody out there, if we're providing some value to you today that you think real estate agents or investors should hear, we would really appreciate it if you just liked this post and shared it, right? We believe in like this, we used to want to keep our secrets to ourselves, right? That was that was a mindset that things just wouldn't help, that we wanted to keep all our secrets. Now we have this abundance mindset. That abundance mindset is there's plenty to go around. Sharing the information is everybody should have the information that they need. So please share it so other people out there can hear some of the stats, some of the opportunities. We want everybody to succeed and come through this. We want everybody that's listening to decide, all right, I'm not going to sit around for 6 months. I'm going to get into action right now. So let's look at some of those next things. So we've got outreach methods. So dialing. And so what that means is, so you want to try to call someone. And so we have Ringless voicemails, which are auto voicemails. And there's a lot of different technology out there that can do it. In PadHock, you can send out voicemails. In PadHock, you can send out voicemails. And there's plenty of other companies out there that do it, right? And they charge you 5 to 10 cents to do it. And that will get a big response, right? It sends out a voicemail, says, hey, I'm trying to buy your house. And you get the calls back. In some states, that's starting to become illegal. So you got to check out where you're allowed to do it, especially people are on the do not call list. Now, whether it's a phone call that you're calling with yourself or with a voicemail, and you can get phone numbers lots of different ways. So you can buy the phone number on PadHock. You can buy the phone number on PadHock. We'll get 70% of them or something like that. And 70% of them are right after that. Or, I do a really good job just Googling the person and the name and trying to figure out what's out there for phone numbers. There's a lot of different phone numbers out there. And, you can call the first 5. There's 5 of them on there. Just call. Hey, is this so-and-so? No. Okay. Is this so-and-so? No. Is this so-and-so? Okay. Do you own the house here? All right, yes. And then you start into your other pitch. So when I'm making that call, if I'm leaving a voicemail, I'm going to say, hey, my name's Aaron. I'm not sure if this is the right number. I'm not even sure if this is the right house, but I was looking at houses, in Austin, Texas. And I thought this one has some equity and might be a prime one, to sell right now. I'm an agent. I'm trying to sell houses. I actually sold one right around the corner from there. So if you want to sell your house right now, please give me a call back. If you're an investor, it's the same thing. I've bought and sold properties there before. We are still buying right now. Personalize it, make it real. You don't have to say this is for Aaron, this message is for John. Especially if you're going to do some of the Ringless stuff, you want it to be specific to a city or a county or a neighborhood. But be able to personalize by saying, this is what's happening in the market right now. So this might be the opportunity that I have for you as you're doing that. And it's really just to start the conversation. And then as soon as you're starting the conversation, it's like, hey, I'm an investor. I buy houses. I know this is a really crazy time right now, but I thought I would reach out to you because it looks like you have equity and see if you had any plans at all in selling your house right now. Or I want to see, hey, I'm an investor that's done this. I think you're another investor. It looks like you own a couple rentals. Is there anything I can help you with right now? And that's when somebody's going to do it. So it's really reaching out right now to see if you can help them. Now, if it's somebody that's in foreclosure, you can say, hey, I saw that your house is posted for foreclosure right now. If your house is posted for foreclosure right now, you've got a few weeks, or maybe now you've got a few months, right? It's probably going to get canceled next month, but it's not going to get canceled forever. Do you need any help on figuring out forbearance? Do you have any interest in selling your house? It looks like you have a lot of equity right now. So that's how phone calls go. And I would say email and social media is the same way. Not very many people are trying to email. But again, if you Google somebody, there's a pretty good chance you're going to find their email, find their LinkedIn, find their social media, find their Facebook, find their Instagram. It'd be very unlikely that there's somebody out there that you can't find online and reach out to them that way. And it's the same way. Hi, so-and-so. I'm not sure if you're still the owner of so-and-so or if you ever were, but if you are, I wanted to reach out. My name's Aaron, and I'm a real estate agent, or my name's Aaron, and I'm an investor. I'm reaching out to people like you right now to see if they need any help right now during this crisis. Now, if it's an email or a social media thing, I would give examples of the type of help people have asked. Some people have asked me to help them pick up their groceries. Other people are trying to figure out pricing on houses. Some people are trying to refinance. Others are trying to find rentals or understand the eviction laws. Be ready to add value. And then if somebody does start asking you questions, you're going to change your script on your next email, your next voicemail, your next postcard. These are the common questions I'm getting. This is how we can help you. So one of the things on here, if people are buying leads for foreclosures, it used to be you get your list, you go knock on the door and say, hey, my name's Aaron, it's in foreclosure. Or my name's Aaron, I'm a listing agent. Can I help you sell your house? Door knocking is very common. It's going to be less common right now. People, if somebody knocks on my door right now, I'm going to be pretty leery as I look out. People are going to be wanting to test people's, temperature before they're going to open the door and talk to them right now. It's not a normal time to be doing door knocking. It's just going to be a little bit harder. It doesn't mean you can't do door knocking, but I do think it's going to be different. Just remember, you need to respect people when they're there. It could be door knocking and then stepping back like 10 feet away, right? And having a conversation from further away. I think that alone makes it feel a little bit less scary when somebody's answering the door. It's still the same pitch. Hi, my name's Aaron. I found a list for this property because it has a lot of equity in it. And I thought, and I'm an agent and I'm trying to find people that want to sell their house right now. Or, I'm an investor. I see it scheduled for foreclosure. So knock on the door, stand 10 feet back. Another thing that we've had a lot of success with is door hangers. Now you can order these door hangers from all over the place. Now, all these stuff that we're telling you to do, you can do it all yourself and you can go hire other people to do it. The Vistaprint was where we used to get our door hangers made from. Now all these things we can do for you guys as a service. So if you want us to call people for you, or you want us to email people for you, or you want us to door knock or send mailers or postcards, just send us a chat. We'll set up an order form next week. Some of our stuff you do have an order form. PadHock lets people send postcards. We also have other stuff. So if there's something that you want us to do, we'll help you. We'll do it. We can do your postcards, we can do your letters, that sort of thing. But we want to just empower you guys to know that you should be doing it, whether you have us do it or you do it yourself. The least expensive way is going to be to go do it yourself, right? It's just tougher to scale. Right now, you've got a lot of time on your hands, so doing it yourself probably is a good way to do it. If you don't want to do it yourself, reach out to us. We can try to help. All right, so door hangers, say whatever your other script is. Hey, my name's so-and-so. I came by your house because of this, and this. If there's anything I can help you with, just please reach out. Here's some of the things I do. Drop off groceries, go do this, gives free CMAs, open houses, virtual tours from my phone. If you're an agent, you can say, are you interested in buying a house right now, but you don't have an agent? I can go tour that house for you and send you videos of it, right? That's stuff right now of value you could be offering when you're doing those door hangers or those letters. So when I talk mailers, right? So mailers are two different things. You can send postcards, and that postcard, I think I've got an example of it on one of the next pages, is, hey, I want to buy your house. Or you can just do personalized letters. So you can type out the letters in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Hi, I'm so-and-so. This is how I got your contact information. This is what I do. If you're interested in talking to me, please call me back here. Giving them a call to action. Please call me at this time. You can also say, I'll call you back too. I'll try to give you a call later. Postcards or letters. I think letters are opened way more often because a lot of people get postcards, especially people that are in distress. A lot of companies doing it. Postcards, if you want to have us send them out, they're 60 cents mailed and delivered. We can help them with, we'll have Jack call you, get it designed, get it personalized for you. 60 cents a piece delivered. Actual letters, where it's like handwritten letters on the front coming from you, signed on the yellow paper inside. Those are like $1.50 a letter, but cheaper than it used to be when you were driving. So I would recommend somebody right now, even if they're trying to buy them at auction next month or the June, download your list, send out a postcard right now, send out a letter right now, go knock on the door, go put a door hanger on the door. Constantly provide value in that. Provide value, and of those hundreds that you do, 99% of them won't have you do anything, and one of them will have you do something now. And maybe of those 99, 9 of them will do something for you 10 years from now or a year from now. So it's putting that value out first, but when you're doing those pitches, be sure to pitch what your value is. And again, that what to say we talked about. So mailers, postcards, door knocking, email. Find the people out there and go reach out and be more creative, because it's a little different world. Some states have said that real estate activities are allowed right now. Some states have said they aren't critical and you have to stay home. If you want more information on how to go through and order some of those phone numbers and email addresses, just go to PadHock.com, go to Roddy's Portfolio Builder. As soon as you open it up, there's a video right there that shows you how to do it. Here's an example of what some of our postcards are, right? Like, hey, I'd like to buy your house at Steamboat Springs. Would you like to sell it to me for cash? Sell me your house. I'm a local cash buyer. It's got highlights. It's got drawing. It's got a call to action of come to our website, come to our phone, call us here. This was one that was a couple months ago when the world was normal. Be sure to personalize it to what's going on now. This is what's going on now. This is how I can offer value. You can even say, I used to send these postcards just to buy houses, but I realized right now is a lot crazier than that. So I honestly just want to try to help you with the hopes that maybe sometime in the next 10 years, you might have me help you buy a house. Can I do anything for you? And there's a lot of stuff right now. As we get into questions, and we'll start to pull extra stuff in here. It's really just reminding everyone out there that now is not the time to sit around and do nothing, right? It's time to be active and see what's happening. Now with foreclosures down, we have customers that are buying less houses. But there's a lot of those skills that you used to know about before, you can use today. You'll be able to use that stuff now as long as you don't give up. And just as a human, right? Like I said at the beginning, we're all fighting the same thing right now. For the first time in a really long time, everyone in the world is fighting this unseen thing together. Everybody hates the virus. They hate COVID. Everyone's in it together. People are teaming up for the first time ever. So it's a great time to say, hey, can I provide value to you? And really, for no other reason, it's true. You just want to provide value. And what happens if you're in real estate as an investor or an agent, whenever you provide value for people, more people know what you do. More people know what you're interested in, and they know you have a good heart. And God just re-delivers too. If you go do things right now with a good heart, then it will come back to you tenfold. So I see some of our questions on here as I start to pull them on. I'm just going to see if I can get some on the screen. So Gary said, what's the name of the other companies beside PadHock? So we'll put those in the comments, but it was PadHock.com was one of them. And that's our Roddy's Portfolio Builder. You can track your own deals that you have, plus your acquisitions, plus phone numbers. There's a free CRM software. PadHock is totally free except for ordering the phone numbers and the email addresses. But you can track all sorts of other stuff for free in there. PadHock.com is one of the other ones. www.padhawk, PadHawk. I'll re-put those in all the comments at the end as well. That is the $99 a month to be able to see all the stuff nationwide. You also pay per phone number and per email. For foreclosure specific to Texas, it's FLSonline.com. So we have a question that says, should I contact Jack Z if I'm interested in postcards? Yes, absolutely. So you can, if you're one of our Roddy's FLS members, you've probably had a phone conversation with Jack or Paul or Curtis and I. The Jack is going to be your go-to guy that will customize your postcard packages for you. And when it comes to postcard and letter strategies, choosing between a postcard or a letter or more or less, I don't know how often you see things, but if you get a postcard and a letter and a week later you get a letter and then you get a phone call, the more you do, the better the chances of that name recognition, especially if every time you're leading with, how can I help you? So if they get your postcard, they get your voicemail, they get your letter, they get your door hanger, they go, this person is serious, I should give him a call. He's going to work a lot harder for me than somebody else, right? Deals are still happening, just less of them. So you got to do what's great. So and our Roddy's team is in there, the abundance mindset. That is what we're trying to get there. It says, does PadHock get you phone numbers and emails? You can get them inside there, but you pay 10 cents a piece. So now one of our other comments, yes, PadHock.com is one of our software packages on there. So if you guys have any questions on the YouTube and Facebook, post your questions. We'll see if there's any in the chat. And it says, yes, so PadHock is $99 a month was one of the questions. PropHawk is free, PROPHAWK, and I'm sorry that we decided that we couldn't have two unique names for that. We should have done a much better job on that. So any of the other questions on there that I'm seeing, it's we had questions. A lot of people are asking for the URLs. We've had people on the chat saying, hey, they can offer help with those, with doing mortgages. There's lenders out there right now that do want to try to help out with people. Finding those lenders is going to be a big deal. We talked about the 3D walkthrough technology out there. And so Jack said that if you need that information, I put the link on there for the house that showed it on there. That's like Matterport is one of them. And then Curtis, what's the other one that they can actually order through Roddy's if they have Patrick go do it?
Ooh, I do not know. If you need to order a 3D scan through for your property, we can set that up though.
So if you're in Texas area 3D scan, you can order that straight from Roddy's. So that we can go get that for you and send it out for you, a lot like that one that I just showed you. So people are asking for technology links. People asked if this recording was available. The recording will stay available on YouTube and Facebook. One of the questions at the very beginning said, is it a good idea to rehab higher dollar properties right now? So that's a totally kind of question that's not COVID related. It's just like, what about investing? The higher dollar properties, the risk reward, is, you can make more money with the less amount of work. You can lose more money with the least amount of work. And, traditionally too, if we're going into a recession, the things that get hit the hardest during recessions is commercial space, second homes and properties like vacation homes, like the places in Hawaii or places on the coast or places that are Airbnbs. I have an Airbnb in California that is just really struggling. It's never been this bad before because people can't go there. Now I just want to totally throw away that investment. And it used to be a great one. So so land goes down, vacation rentals, high price stuff also comes down faster, right? Because less people have less money. And so I think the higher dollar stuff is a little bit riskier right now. But if that's your specialty already, those are the differences. Just really, really know your comps and really, really do your research. Like, so if there's a house here that sold for $1 million and the house next door is $800,000, you need to tour both. You need to examine the pictures on both and the yards and everything to see why. Because one could be that one had a backyard that had a bad slope and the other one didn't. One could be that there used to be a mold issue and now there's not. So if you're going to be trying to turn an $800,000 house into a $900,000 or $1 million house, you need to really know the comps and understand why. We have flipped multi-million-dollar houses and we have flipped $100,000 and $150,000 houses. I have done the worst on the really big ones because smaller houses I can rehab and flip and rent from far away. I can do it with pictures. Really, really high-end stuff, you need to be able to go to that house yourself and really get a good idea on it. So it's not that it's a bad idea. If it's your specialty, do it. Just be more questions right now. All right, so one of our questions came out and said, not seeing a lot of postings. Are May auctions still planned? And that's from one of our longstanding FLS members. Thanks for being on here and listening. So May auction is still planned, but postings are way down. There's like 30%, especially in the places where you guys subscribe to. There's like 30% of the postings that were there before, and they're done, right? So Travis and Williamson, those are, I think last month Travis had 110 and now there's 40 or something like that. So not very many postings. If it's a tertiary county, the rest of our postings are going to be done today. So by end of the night tonight, you'll see what our total count is. So auctions are still scheduled. There's going to be less of them. Make sure too, if you just got here, Cami, go to our live updates where we'll show you which ones are already canceled. If I jump back over to there on our Roddy's page, again, you can go to our products, click here. When you're inside here, you can click the live updates and you can see which ones have already canceled. So there's a lot of these on here that have already canceled that are scheduled for auction. So even though there is auction, there is less of them that are going to be coming up right now. And so we'll see more of them get posted. Right now, May auction is still scheduled. We're sending out press releases to all the trustees and everyone to let them know sales did happen last month. And so if a lot of trustees were scared last month, we think there will be more sales this month. We think the stuff that is posted has a higher chance of selling than last month because these people are very certain they were able to post them. But we would also encourage you guys to try to buy the houses before auction right now because most of them will still cancel, and the ones that do will get put on the market 2-3 months or put on the foreclosure list again 2-3 months from now. So get your info now. Try to buy those ahead of time. And it says, who should I contact for the 3D scan through FLS? Thanks for asking. So you can email jack@flsonline.com. Or you can go to the chat on FLS Online. And if you're in another state too and you don't have a source for that, we probably can do it in other places too. I just know that we can do it in Texas for you. Curtis, what else we got?
I think you answered all the questions, Aaron.
All right, everyone. I am super sorry that I said I would have you out of here in an hour, and it took me an hour and 19 minutes. Again, please share, please like, please tell everybody about this. We just want real estate agents and investors to succeed right now. Next week, we're going to have a lot more webinars. If you follow either of our Facebook pages or either of our YouTube pages, you'll get an automatic update for it. So if you want to be on a future webinar, subscribe to any of the YouTube pages, any of the Facebook pages that you're watching it on right now. And next time we do one, you'll see like a day ahead of time. Hey, the webinar is tomorrow. Here's the time. You can ask for your own reminders or get on our email list. If you're on our Rebus University email list, if you're on our Real Estate Rockstars Radio email list, or FLS Online. If you're not yet, go to one of those sites, sign up for a free list, join our mailing list, get on there, and we'll tell you about the next ones. And send us questions. We want to be able to provide you guys value. As we jump back to kind of that reminder of what our next ones are going to be, we're going to talk next week about how to comp houses in a falling market, how to create and manage construction teams for scale, when to cut and run with a property. That is something that again, back in 2009, 2010, prices were falling every week, and we were still successfully flipping and making a lot of money doing it. So thanks everybody for saying that we had good information out here. We were just trying to provide value to you today. Again, share it, and we'll see you guys next time. And and just keep working hard out there. We're all going to get through this. And if there's anything we can help you with, we're telling you guys to reach out and say, how can we help? We are calling every single one of our members, and we're saying, what can we do to help you? And that is a big open-ended question to say, we're really trying to see, what do you guys need? So if you see Jack and Curtis and Paul, if you see we're calling you, we're texting you, we're emailing you, we have a real list. We're trying to reach you guys, and we're just trying to ask you, how is everything going? We're not trying to sell you anything. We're not trying to upgrade anything. We just want to know how we can help. So take those phone calls and listen. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.